Welcome back to Mount Lion Park, Game 4 of 4 of this 4-game series of New Mexico Highlands and UCCS here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Mount Lion's going for a 4-game sweep of the Cowboys. On the flip side, the Cowboys trying to avoid getting swept here and doing that with a lot of lineup changes as we get ready for game number 2. I'm Jared Verner. Thank you so much for joining us as we get ready to close out this series between UCCS and New Mexico Highlands. I alluded to it, New Mexico Highlands, their last 4 batters, all completely new. We haven't seen them yet this series with Aiden McNichol, Cody Riley, Brandon Bayer, and Thomas Wisniewski in the lineup in the last 4 spots for New Mexico Highlands. At UCCS, they're going to be coming out with starting pitcher Daniel Silva. He's 4-1 overall, 3.68 ERA, making his 8th start of the season, has 22 strikeouts for the Mount Lions. For New Mexico Highlands, they got Kyle Bedso, 3-3 on the season, just under 7 ERA, making his 7th start of the season. As we get ready and we see the UCCS defense starting to take the field here for the start of game number 2 of this doubleheader here today in Mount Lion Park. Just as the sun starts to come out here behind the clouds in Olympic City, USA. As we see on the mound, Daniel Silva getting ready to get his warm-up throws in as he gets ready, the junior out of Granada Hills, California for UCCS. As we get ready to start here, game number 2, game 4 overall between UCCS and Mexico Highlands. UCCS improving to 17-12, 9-6 in the conference in that last win earlier today, and Mexico Highlands sliding to 9-19, 2-13 in the conference. UCCS picking up their 14th home win of the season, 14-4 overall. The Mexico Highlands trying to break that little road losing streak, trying to get their first win in the road season. They're 0-8 on the road right now this year. UCCS, though, winners of 4 straight now, 5 of the last 6 going back to last Saturday's game against Colorado's Mesa. Mexico Highlands, on the other hand, trying to snap a 6-game losing streak right here. As we see Daniel Silva right there getting a few more warm-up pitches in as we get ready to start game number 2 here. UCCS largely same lineup as we've seen all weekend. A few changes. Got Brian Schmidt in at catcher. Rumsey is back out at center field for UCCS. Umpires for game number 2, as we see a few highlights from earlier today. In game number 1, Garth Jacks will be behind the plate. John Jarenka over at first base, and Brooks O'Hearn shifts over to third base. These crews are the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. As we see a few more highlights from UCCS's victory against New Mexico Highlands from earlier today. Mount Lions have won 3 of the 3 games so far this series against New Mexico Highlands. This will be the last home game for the Mount Lions. They're going to, for a little bit, they're going to be on the road next weekend at Adams State University at Alamosa, and then the weekend after that against Regis University in Denver before they're back home for back-to-back home weekends. April 18th, that game against Metro State. That game's going to be out at Sky Sox Stadium for the start of a 4-game series against Metro State, and then follow with the home season finale against Colorado School of Mines. As we're getting ready to start here, leadoff batter once again for New Mexico Highlands, Augie Francis. As we've said, one of the top hitters in the conference this season. Here comes the first pitch, and fouled off on the right side. 0-1 count for Augie Francis as we get started here at 1:20 p.m. for game number 4. Mount Lions and Cowboys playing very efficient ball this weekend. Had a 2-hour, 9-inning game on Friday, and then right around about a 3-hour game yesterday. As that ball's put in the play, Silva will field it and toss it over to Malin for a 1-3 play as we start game number 2 here with an out in the top of the first. Travis Spuriel, we saw him in game number 1, but haven't seen him since. Spuriel, one of the top hitters on this team, 333 for New Mexico Highlands. A triple, 2 doubles among his 11 hits this season. Only making his 12th start of the year, though. 1 out here, top of the first, as Silva pitches to Spuriel. Called strike behind the home plate. Count is 0-1 for Spuriel. Galen Young, the designated hitter, next up for New Mexico Highlands. Young moving to the DH spot from third base as that ball is fouled off behind the left side of the stands. Count is now 0-2 for Travis Spuriel. Mexico Highlands, this is only their second really true road series of the season. as we start to transition into March. 0-2 pitch now from Silva. Put on the plate. That's going to go straight to Clark at second base, and he gets it over to Mallon for the 4-3 play. 2 up, 2 down for New Mexico Highlands. Here to start game number 2, a scheduled 7-inning contest between the Mountain Lions and Cowboys once again. Galen Young coming up to the plate as a designated hitter for today's game. 306 batting average coming into this game for the Cowboys. But New Mexico Highlands will be back at home next week for a 4-game series against Regis. And here comes the pitch from Silva. Ball put on the plate. That's going to drop for a hit in front of Norton in right field. So a 2-out single for Galen Young. Puts a base runner on for New Mexico Highlands here in the top of the 4th with 2 outs. Carlos Ramirez, third baseman for New Mexico Highlands, had been playing the DH spot for the Cowboys, steps in. Ramirez, 282 batter for New Mexico Highlands. As partly cloudy skies are turning to mostly cloudy skies here in Colorado Springs. That ball's a little bit upstairs for ball number 1. Garrett Hammer, the catcher, on deck for the Cowboys should this inning continue. 1 hit so far for Highlands here in the opening frame of this game. Pitch just a little bit outside. 2-0 count now for Carlos Ramirez at the plate. Two outs, top of the 1st, with Young over at first base for New Mexico Highlands. That ball chopped off on the foul side. First strike for Ramirez here. 2-1 now for him at the plate. Mountain Lions going for their second series sweep of the season. They were able to sweep Colorado Christian earlier this month. 2-1 pitch. Called in for strike number 2. 2-2 pitch now. 2 outs, top of the 1st. Galen Young over at first for New Mexico Highlands after the 2-out single. The Mountain Lions have been very effective in limiting Augie Francis, one of the top hitters in the country, to limited offensive production so far here. Count goes full now at that count as that ball goes through the other batter box. 3-2 count now for Carlos Ramirez at the plate. The third baseman looking to get on base for New Mexico Highlands. Full count, runner goes, and that'll be a walk for Carlos Ramirez. And so after back-to-back outs for the Mountain Lions against New Mexico Highlands, they now Cowboys are able to get 2 on base. Young moves over to second, and Ramirez reaches first on the walk as Garrett Hammer, the catcher, steps up to the batter's box. Garrett Hammer, 224 so far this season for New Mexico Highlands. 2 outs, top of the 1st. First game this weekend, we're not going to see the 2 Hammer brothers playing at the same time, as it'll be Cody Riley at shortstop instead in place of Kalen. Pitch now from Silva. Called strike, and 0-1 count now for Garrett Hammer at the plate. If this inning should continue, this is where we're going to start seeing some new student athletes for New Mexico Highlands. Aiden McNichol, the first baseman, due up if we should continue this inning for New Mexico Highlands. 0-1 pitch now on the way from Silva. Swung at and missed. Now 0-2 count for Garrett Hammer at the plate. 2 outs, top of the 1st. Young on second, Ramirez on first, and Hammer at the plate with an 0-2 count, 2 outs. Silva looks back and delivers the 0-2 pitch. That's fouled off behind the netting. Count remains at 0-2. Silva 4-1 on season this year, 3.68 ERA, making his 8th start, 9th appearance of the year. Right here, 22 strikeouts for the junior. Here comes the 0-2 pitch and a strikeout looking. So now in the inning, New Mexico Highlands able to put 2 on base after quick 2 outs, but can't do anything with them. We go to the bottom of the 1st, tied at 0. You're watching UCCS baseball. bottom of the first here at Mount Lion Park. UCCS and Mexico Highlands still tied at 0 in Game 4 of this series. We're going to see a little bit different defense for New Mexico Highlands. 3 different infielders than what we've seen all weekend. McNichol at first, Bayer at second, Riley at shortstop, and then Wisniewski over in left field for New Mexico Highlands. Matthew Clark, though, for UCCS, stepping in to the box, taking on Kyle Bedso, the 3-3 pitcher, just under 7 ERA. Strike number 1 to Matthew Clark. Bedso making his 7th start of the year, 24 strikeouts on the season for New Mexico Highlands. 0-1 pitch is now on the way from Bedso. That ball's put into play. It's going to have to be Bayer. He's able to get it, and he's going to get it over to McNichol. He is for the 4-3 play, out number 1 here in the bottom of the first.
Now batting,
Matt Berg, the left fielder, stepping up for Mountain Lions. Berg, a 299 hitter for UCCS. 2 home runs, 6 doubles among his 23 hits this season. 1 out here, bottom of the first, though, for UCCS, as that is Clark, Berg, and Anderson leading off for the Mountain Lions. Here in game number 2 of today's game 4 of the series. Bedso getting his sign. Here comes the pitch from him. A little outside for ball number 1. Bedso, a right-handed senior out of San Diego, California. Transfer from Southwestern Community College. 1-0 pitch now on the way. Outside for ball number 2 to Matt Berg. Berg 1 for 3 in game 1 of today's game. 2-up pitches now on the way. Count is now 3-0 for Matt Berg. 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Pitches on the way. Strike number 1 to Matt Berg. 3-1 count now, confirmed by the umpire. Here in the bottom of the first between Kyle Bedso on the mound and Matt Berg at the plate. That ball's hit, but fouled off behind the first base side. Full count now for Matt Berg at the plate. Light breeze going out to left field. Mostly cloudy skies. Here comes a 3-2 pitch outside, and Matt Berg will take his base on a walk. As Mount Lions able to get 1 runner on here in the bottom of the first. Jake Anderson, the third baseman, now coming up to the plate. Jake Anderson, 337 batter for the Mount Lions. Picked up his 2nd home run of the series in the 5th inning of game number 1. As Anderson will be able to work in the bottom of the first. 1 out here with Matt Berg over at first base for UCCS. And Bedso goes back over to McNichol at first. Berg safely slides back in. Berg only 1 for 2 on stolen base attempts this season. And Bedso decides to go back to McNichol again. Berg again slides safely back in. Still waiting for the first pitch to Jake Anderson. Bedso settles in, delivers his pitch to Anderson. A little bit low for ball number 1. Richards, the designated hitter, on deck for the Mount Lions, if this inning should continue. 1-0 count, 1 out here, bottom of the first with Berg over at first base for UCCS. 1-0 pitch on the way. Ball is hit, but behind the press box. Strike number 1. 1-1 count now for Jake Anderson at the plate. UCCS 7-0 all-time against Mexico Highlands when playing in Colorado Springs. Swept the first game between these swept the first series between these 2 teams in 2016 down at Memorial Park. And trying to do the same thing here down at Mount Lion Park. 1-1 pitch is on the way, a little bit low. 2-1 count now for Jake Anderson. Anderson, the redshirt junior out of Yorba Linda, California. Transfer from Fullerton. 2-1 count, 1 out bottom of the first with Matt Berg at first base for UCCS. Bedso delivers the 2-1 pitch. Called strike by the umpire. 2-2 count now. Here in the bottom of the first, 1 out. Evan Richards on deck for the Mount Lions. Anderson, 2 home runs against New Mexico Highlands already this weekend. 2 for 4 in game 1 earlier today. Home run and a single in his last 2 at-bats. 2-2 pitch now from Betso. That ball is chopped up. It's going to go up the middle. Second shortstop can't quite field it, so runners will reach. It's going to be a hard play. He had to slide in to try to make that play. So runners will move up one. That'll put Berg over at second and Anderson over at first with that single by Jake Anderson. Evan Richards, a designated hitter, now coming up to the plate. Richards, .323 this season, 11 home runs, team leading 11 home runs. Scored 2 runs in game number 1 earlier today, reaching base on both those occasions on the walks. Here comes the first pitch to Richards, called strike. 0-1 count now for Richards. Cody Norton, the right fielder, on deck for the Mountain Lions. Should this inning continue, but 1 out here, bottom of the first. Berg on second, Anderson at first. Richards at the plate for the Mountain Lions. 1 hit for each of these teams so far today. Here comes the 0-1 pitch now from Betso. It gets away from the catcher. Mountain Lions will move runners up by 1. And so put Berg over at third and Anderson over at second. 1-1 count now for Evan Richards at the plate. And we're 1-1 count, 1 out. Bottom of the first. Runners at second and third for the Mountain Lions. And Evan Richards, a DH, at the plate. Kyle Betso, starting pitch for Highlands. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Goes for ball number 2. 2-1 count now for Evan Richards for the Mountain Lions. Berg on third, Anderson at second for UCCS. 1 out, bottom of the first. And last game of this series between these two teams. 2-1 pitches on the way, a little bit outside for ball number 3. 3-1 count now for Evan Richards. He was able to draw 2 walks in game 1 earlier today. See if he's able to draw a third and load these bases up for Cody Norton. Here comes a 3-1 pitch. It's called strike. So count goes full now for Evan Richards. 3-2 count, 1 out, bottom of the first. Runners on second and third for the Mountain Lions. Betso delivering a full count pitch just outside, and that would be good enough. So the Mountain Lions load the bases as Evan Richards picks up his 3rd walk of the day, first of this game. And Cody Norton, the right fielder, coming up to the plate for the Mountain Lions. Norton, .301 hitter with 5 home runs this season. 2 for 4 in game number 1 is a single and a double. But right now we've got Berg on third, Anderson at second, and Richards at first for the Mountain Lions with 1 out in the bottom of the first. 2 walks so far from New Mexico Highlands as that ball is fouled off behind the catcher for strike number 1. 1 hit for each of these teams. That 1 hit for the Mountain Lions coming with Jake Anderson. He's currently sitting over at second. 0-1 pitch now on the way from Betso. Contact is made, but fouled off again. 0-2 count now for Cody Norton at the plate. 1 out, bottom of the first. After a lead out, ground out, next 3 batters for Mountain Lions have reached base successfully off of 2 walks and a hit. Mountain Lions with only 1 out, trying to convert these into runs here. Taking an early lead against the Cowboys in game number 4. Here comes the 0-2 pitch from Betso. Swing and a miss. And so strikeout for Cody Norton. For out number 2 here in the bottom of the first, as John Mallon, the first baseman, comes up to the plate. John Mallon, the junior, hitting .225 this season. 3 doubles and a triple among his 18 hits this year, including a single in 5th inning of game number 1 earlier today. 2 outs, bottom of the first, base is loaded for the Mountain Lions. As first pitch to Betso from Betso, a little low for ball number 1. Ryan Schmidt, the catcher, on deck for the Mountain Lions. Should this inning continue? Mountain Lions winners of 4 straight, looking to make it 5 straight here on a Sunday afternoon in Colorado Springs. Pitch now from Betso, low again for ball number 2. 2-0 count now to John Mallon. 2-0 count, 2 outs. Bottom of the first. Berg at third. Anderson at second. Richards at first for the Mountain Lions. As Highlands trying to come out here with at least a win in this series. Snapping a little bit of a losing streak. 2-0 pitch now from Bedso. Count goes 3-0 against Malin. So 2 outs, bases loaded. 3-0 count for John Malin at the plate for the Mountain Lions here in the opening inning of this game. Bedso, 3-0 pitches now on the way. Called strike, 3-1 count now for John Malin. And 3-1 pitch now on the way. Ball is hit, but it'll be hit behind the netting. Count is now full for John Malin at 3-2, so he was ahead in the count 3-0. Now called strike and a foul ball. Makes it a 3-2 count for John Malin at the plate. 2 outs from the bottom of the first with bases loaded for the Mountain Lions. Slight breeze going straight out to center field. 3-2 pitch now on the way. Runners are going. Well hit ball. That's going to go on the right side, but I think it's going to go foul into the Mountain Lion batting cages. Make that the bullpen area, but still a 3-2 count for John Malin. UCCS runners are ready to go in this 2-out situation. Low 40s here. Colorado Springs. 3-2 pitches on the way. That ball's hit. That's going to go to right center field. Looks like it's going to be Francis. He can't quite make it. That's going to drop down and go against the fence. That'll be at least 1 run, 2 run to score. Mountain Lions are going to send 3 all the way home. And Mountain Lions, with a double from John Malin, take a 3-0 lead here in the first inning of game number 2 against New Mexico Highlands.
Number 16.
Runs from Berg, Anderson, and Richards make this a 3-0 game. And the bottom of the first, UCCS with that 2-out, 3 RBI double from John Malin. Now Ryan Schmidt, the catcher, still had his knee pads on. Chuck those off real quick. Step into the batter's box. Schmidt, 217 hitter, a freshman. Only freshman in the lineup for Coach Hadjic. There's the swing. Ball is hit in the center, into outfield, and it'll be left fielder. Left fielder Wisniewski can't quite make it. Either lost in the sun or I don't know what happened there, but it'll be a double, depending on how it's ruled. But 1 more run now comes in for John Malin, 4-0 lead for UCCS. Sun had just come out, so we'll see how they ruled that. Had to move quite a bit of distance to get over there. But Ryan Schmidt over at second. Walker Rumsey, the center fielder, now up to the plate. They are going to rule that a hit. So a double for Ryan Schmidt after Wisniewski loses the ball in the sun. 4-0 lead now for UCCS. And a pitch now to Walker Rumsey for ball number 1. Rumsey, 214 batter this year. 1 home run, 9 hits for him this season. Mountain Lions 2 outs with a runner on second. Here comes a 1-0 pitch. He checks the swing. They will appeal to first, and they will say he did not check his swing in time. So 1-1 count now for Rumsey. 2 outs here, bottom of the first. Matt McDermott on deck for the Mountain Lions. 3 hits for the Mountain Lions in this inning, 4 runs to show for it. Able to draw 2 walks earlier. And that ball hit in the right field. It's going to be Spurl there. He's going to be able to make the play, and he does. And so Mountain Lions take a 4-0 lead against New Mexico Highlands here in the final game of the series. When we come back, we're going to see the 6, 7, 8 batters for New Mexico Highlands, Minickle, Riley, and Bayer. When we come back, you're watching UCCS Baseball. An exciting first inning for the Mountain Lions to take a 4-0 lead against New Mexico Highlands here in game number 2 of today's doubleheader, as we welcome the 6, 7, 8 batters in Aiden McNichol, Cody Riley, and Brandon Bayer for New Mexico Highlands, as Daniel Silva back onto the mound for UCCS. He delivers the first pitch to McNichol, called strike, and we're underway here in the top of the second here at Mount Lion Park. I mentioned the open, these next four batters for New Mexico Highlands we haven't seen all weekend. So we'll see how they go. 0-1 pitch now on the way from Silva, just outside for ball number 1. Silva coming in today, 3.68 ERA, good for top 10 in the conference. Holding opponents to about 230 batting average, good for 4th in the conference. 1-1 pitch now coming down from Silva. A little low for ball number 2. McNichol, freshman, hitting .400, only making his 5th start of the season for New Mexico Highlands, 8 of 20 at the plate in his limited of starts. 2-1 pitch now from Silva. That ball's hit, but it's going to go foul on the right side. Count evens up at 2-2. Leadoff batter here in the top of the second. Scheduled 7-inning contest here to close out the series between UCCS and New Mexico Highlands. 2-2 pitch now coming from Silva. Ball is hit. That's going to be McDermott. He's able to field it cleanly. Has time to get over to Malin for the 6-3 play, and that's out number 1 here in the top of the first and top of the second. Cody Riley, the shortstop for today's game, coming up to the plate. The senior hitting .333, making his 6th start of the year, 10th overall appearance, 7 of 21 at the plate. Only 4 RBIs for him this season. Mountain Lions with that 4-0 lead. Here with Silva already with 1 strikeout and 1 1/3 innings of work. Silva getting ready for the pitch to Riley, and he delivers. Shows bunt, Riley does, and it's going to be fielded by Anderson. He gets it on the run, gets over to Malin, but it's not going to be in time. Nice single by Cody Riley to get on base here in the second. Second hit of the day for the Cowboys. Well hit single, well played by Anderson to try to get over there in time, but Cody Riley using his speed. Wasn't going to be a play over at first. Brandon Bayer, the shortstop, now up to the plate for New Mexico Highlands. The freshman, 1 of 9 at the plate, making his 3rd start of the year here at Mountain Lion Park. 1 out, top of the second. Silva delivers the pitch. That ball is chopped in. Silva will field it, gets it over to Mallet at first base for the 1-3 play in the second out of the inning. Cody Riley advances to second in the process to put Highlands into scoring position with 2 outs in the second. Thomas Wisniewski, the left fielder, coming up to the plate. Number 9 in the batting order. Another freshman, 2 of 19 at the plate, making only his 7th start of the year. So we're seeing a lot more freshmen. 3 of the last 4 batters in the lineup for New Mexico Highlands, all freshmen. As first pitch from Silva, called strike right down the middle. Cody Riley over on second base for New Mexico Highlands here in the top of the second. Mountain Lions with a 4-0 lead. And Silva right there. And now we get a better look at Wisniewski. Silva delivers the 0-1 pitch. Swings, that's going to go over to Anderson. He's going to have time to get over to Malin for the 5-3 play. Now he's in the top of the second inning. So once again, New Mexico Highlands able to get someone in scoring position, but can't do anything with it. UCCS takes a 4-0 lead into the bottom of the second, where we will see Matt McDermott, Matthew Clark, and Matt Berg, the 3 Matts, coming up in the bottom of the second. You're watching UCCS baseball.
Beat. Check this out.
Bottom of the second here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. UCCS with a 4-0 lead against New Mexico Highlands, as it'll be Matt McDermott, the number 9 hitter in the lineup, coming up first for UCCS. Here in the bottom of the second, 423 hitter, second on the team. Calls that, gets strike number 1 there to start the second bottom of the second. But it'll be McDermott, and then back to the top of the order with Clark and Berg. 0-1 pitch now from Bedso inside for ball number 1. UCCS 4-0 lead after the first inning. Here in game number 2 of the doubleheader, 1-1 pitch is outside for ball number 2. 2-1 count now for Matt McDermott. Here to lead off the bottom of the second. 2-1 pitch on the way. 3-1 now for Matt McDermott. Here had a home run, a double, and a triple in game number 1. 3 for 3 at the plate for him. Here comes the 3-1 pitch now from Bedso, and Matt McDermott will take his base on balls. Third walk of the day for Kyle Bedso, and just the start of the second inning. Now we're back to the top of the order with Matthew Clark, round out the second in the first inning. Clark, top hitter in the conference. We've got a total of 3 batters between these two teams hitting above 400. As McDermott able to reach safely over at first. But Clark, 439 batter this season, good for top in the conference. This is a shade over Francis's 430 so far. First pitch that Clark will see goes over to shortstop. Fields it cleanly, getting over to first base, but it's a little bit wide, and so Clark will be able to reach base. And in the process, McDermott will go all the way over to third. So Mount Lions put runners on the corners, as throwing error by the shortstop will allow Clark to reach base, and then Matt McDermott goes all the way over to second. So no outs here, bottom of the second inning, and Mount Lions already with runners on the corners as the first 2 batters reach base. Matt Berg drew a walk in the first inning, later scored for the Mount Lions, part of that 4-0 first inning. Mount Lions 4 runs off of 3 hits. Highlands no runs on 2 hits and 1 error so far in this inning. High pop-up is going to go into shallow right field. There's going to be 3 Cowboys that are going to call for it. Second baseman Bayer calls for it. Mount Lions will stay in the process though, so first out of the inning for the Mount Lions, as McDermott will stay over at third and Clark over at first. McDermott thought about it, but in that shallow enough ball kept the runners at where they're at. Jake Anderson coming up to the plate, had a single in the first inning, later scoring as well. 1 out here, bottom of the second. Mount Lions enjoying a 4-0 lead. Anderson, 36 hits for him so far this season and 105 at-bats. Here comes the pitch, goes right up the middle. Diving shortstop isn't going to be able to make it, so that 1 run will score for the Mount Lions. Clark will stay over at second. And so Matt McDermott comes home for UCCS. Makes it a 5-0 lead for the Mount Lions as Clark goes over to second, and a single up the middle for Jake Anderson. Makes it a 5-0 lead for the Mount Lions. Back-to-back singles for Jake Anderson in his 2 appearances so far today. Tack on to that, he had a single in his last appearance in game number 1 and a home run, so he's had hits in his last 4 at-bats. Evan Richards now at the plate for the Mount Lions. That ball's way outside. Mount Lions are going to be able to send runners up 1 more spot. And so Clark goes over to third and Anderson goes over to second. Ball 1 for Evan Richards, the designated hitter at the plate. So it's been an exciting couple innings for the Mount Lions, to say the least, as they take a 5-0 lead with runners on second and third with only 1 out here in the second. So 1-0 count, 1 out here, bottom of the second, runners on second and third. Here comes a pitch. That ball's hit well in the left field. It's going to be Wisniewski, but I think it's going to go over the wall, and it does. And so Mount Lions, 3-run home run for Evan Richards, and add 3 more runs. Mount Lions now with an 8-0 lead after 1 1/3 innings here at Mount Lion Park. Evan Richards, a team-leading 12 home runs now, as he's going to trot over to home plate. And there he goes, Mount Lions with an 8-0 lead against New Mexico Highlands. Only 1 out here in the bottom of the second. As Cody Norton now coming up to the plate, struck out swinging in the first inning. 1 out, bottom of the second, as Cody Norton back up to the plate, the right fielder. Bases cleared by that 3-run home run by Evan Richards. That ball hit onto the right side, fouled off for strike number 1. One pitch now on the way from Bedso. A little inside for ball number 1 to Cody Norton. 1-1 count now for him, the senior out of California. On deck, John Mallon should this inning will continue. So John Mallon on deck for the Mountain Lions. 1-1 pitch now on the way. That ball hit high, but it's going to go behind the Mountain Lion dugout. Count is now 1-2 for Cody Norton. 1-2 count, 1 out here, bottom of the second. Mountain Lions with another 4 runs here in the second inning to take an 8-0 lead here in the final game of the series. 1-2 pitch now from Bedso. Swung at and strikeout for Cody Norton. So 2 outs here, bottom of the second. John Mallon now comes up to the plate. Had a double in the first for the Mountain Lions. On deck should the inning continue. Ryan Schmidt, the catcher for UCCS, with 2 outs. First pitch to Mallon, low inside for ball number 1. Well hit ball from Mallon, goes over to the third baseman Ramirez. Ramirez able to get it over to McNichol in time for the 5-3 play, and that should end the inning. Looked like a little confusion at first on the defense, but looks like that will be out number 3. So Mountain Lions tack on 4 more runs here in the bottom of the second, take an 8-0 lead into the top of the third. We'll be able to see the top of the order for the New Mexico Highlands when we come back. You're watching UCCS Baseball.
No runners on base in the second inning.
Daniel Silva right there, back out for the top of the third inning. UCCS enjoying an 8-0 lead here as we're back to the top of the order for New Mexico Highlands with Francis Spuriel and Young. First 3 batters for New Mexico Highlands. Francis ground out to the pitcher in his first appearance in the first, and that ball is a little high for ball number 1. Francis coming into this game, .430 batting average. A little bit lower than the .456 he entered the series with. Mountain Lions doing a good job of limiting his potential. 1-0 pitch now, swung over, and that's going to be fouled down the third base side. For 1-1 count now to Augie Francis. Francis, second in the Armac in batting average, 11th in the nation coming into this game. Also leading the conference in a couple other offensive categories. 1-1 pitch now coming from Daniel Silva. That ball's fouled into the netting behind the plate. Strike number 2. 1-2 count now for Francis, the senior from Meriden, Idaho. Daniel Silva, 1 strikeout so far today. 1-2 pitch now coming from him. And a little high, a little closer to the shoulder. 2-2 count now for Francis. Silva, 23 strikeouts on the season, including the 1 in the first inning today. here in the top of the third. Mountain Lions with an 8-0 lead. 2-2 pitch now coming from Daniel Silva. That ball is hit in the left field. That's a well hit ball. That's going to go over defensive. It stays fair, and it is. And so solo home run for Augie Francis. Home run number 6 for him this year, and puts New Mexico Highlands on the board with their first run of the day. Only second hit for the Cowboys here in the start of the third inning. And so now Travis Spurriel, the right fielder, now up to the plate. Ground out to second base in the first inning. As now Highlands able to cut down the lead 8-1 here in the top of the third. Mountain Lions able to score 4 runs each in the first 2 innings. First pitch, Silva thought about winding up. Now he does. Coming now from Silva. Called strike by the home plate umpire. Strike number 1 to Spurriel. Spurriel ground out on an 0-2 count in the first inning. Silva now with the 0-1 pitch. That ball hit over the right field to Norton. He's going to have to go back a few steps, but able to make the play. Fly ball to right field for the first out of the inning for the Cowboys. Galen Young, the designated hitter, had a single in the first inning, reached second after a walk by Ramirez. So 1 out here, top of the third, as Young steps back into the plate. 1 for 1 for him so far today. Reached base on a fielder's choice in game number 1. That was the only other time he reached base today. Pitch now coming from Silva, a little outside for ball number 1. Young in the box. Carlos Ramirez, the third baseman, on deck for New Mexico Highlands. 1-0 pitch now coming from Silva. Just a little outside. Ball number 2. 2-0 count now for Young. To Junior for the Cowboys. 2-0 pitch now being delivered by Silva. That ball hit in the center field. It's going to have to be Rumsey. He's going back all the way to the wall. It's going to bounce off the back of the wall, and that'll be probably a stand-up double for Young, and it is. Straight shot in the center field.
Now batting,
And the 390 feet off the padding on the wall. It's a double for Young, so 2 for 2 for him in this game. Carlos Ramirez drew a walk in the first inning. But 1 out here, top of the third. Highlands with 1 run already with a solo home run from Augie Francis to left field. They had a few more runs and cut into this 8-1 Mountain Lion lead. Young back at second base. Here comes a pitch from Silva. A little inside for ball number 1. Ramirez, 282 hitter for the Cowboys this season. 1-0 count now for him, 1 out, top of the third. As Silva goes back to Clark at second base, but Young able to get back in time. We're reset here with a 1-0 count to Ramirez. One 0 pitch now from Silva. Right down the middle for strike number 1. Count evens up at 1-1 for Carlos Ramirez at the plate. Garrett Hammer, the catcher, on deck for New Mexico Highlands. 1-1 count, 1 out, top of the third. UCCS leading 8-1. Silva looks back at second, delivers a 1-1 pitch, a little bit low for ball number 2. 2-1 count now for Carlos Ramirez. Able to draw a walk in the first inning. Only walk that Silva has allowed in the early stages of this game. Two-one count, 1 out. Here in the top of the third, with Young at second base for New Mexico Highlands. Silva looks back, delivers a 2-1 pitch now to the plate. That ball is going to be fair, and it is just fair. It's going to go into the corner. 1 run to score for New Mexico Highlands as Young comes around the plate, comes around third, and there'll be another stand-up double. So back-to-back doubles for New Mexico Highlands. 2 runs in this inning for the Cowboys, and it's now an 8-2 lead for UCCS. After a double from Young and another double from Ramirez, as Garrett Hammer, the catcher, steps into the batter's box, struck out looking in the first inning. But now 1 out here in the top of the third. Highlands with 2 runs in this inning so far. Another runner in scoring position with Ramirez over at second. Here comes the pitch now to Hammer. Called strike by the home plate umpire. Hammer goes behind in the count, 0-1. Aiden McNichol on deck for New Mexico Highlands. Silva looks back again. 0-1 pitch now coming to Hammer. Fouled off behind the third base stands. 0-2 count now for Garrett Hammer, who struck out looking in the first inning. Daniel Silva, one of the top pitchers on this team, top 10 ERA in the RMAC. 0-2 pitch now from Silva. Checks the swing, but doesn't matter. Called strikeout. So 2 strikeouts for Daniel Silva, both of them against Garrett Hammer, and now 2 outs here in the top of the third. And Aiden McNichol comes up to the plate, ground out to shortstop in the second inning as the leadoff batter in that inning. Highlands 2 outs with Carlos Ramirez over at second base. Part of back-to-back doubles for the Cowboys. They've got 5 hits so far today. Comes pitch from Silva. Ball by home plate umpire. 1-0 count, 2 outs, top of the third. UCCS leading 8-2. Both of the Highlands runs coming in this inning. Ramirez over at second. Silva delivers the 1-0 pitch. Outside for ball number 2. 2-0 count now to Aiden McNichol. Should the inning continue, Cody Riley, the shortstop, on deck for New Mexico Highlands. Two outs, top of the third. 2 runs from New Mexico Highlands in this inning. 2-0 pitch. A little bit low, and McNichol goes ahead in the count 3-0. Still waiting, a little bit slower pace than what we've seen earlier in this series. 3-0 pitch now on the way from Silva, right down the middle for strike number 1. Other games across the conference tonight. Colorado Christian at Colorado Mesa. Adams State taking on Colorado School of Mines up in Golden. CSU Pueblo over at Dixie State. And Regis taking on Metro State up in Denver. In addition to this game between UCCS and Highlands in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. 3-1 pitch now from Silva. And Silva will walk McNichol to put him on first base. And so we have McNichol on first, Ramirez at second. 2 outs here in the top of the third as Cody Riley comes up to the plate. Had a single in the second. As Schmidt will go out to talk to his pitcher Silva, as well Mountain coaching staff. So 2 outs here, top of the third. Silva with 2 strikeouts, giving up 2 walks so far here in 2 2/3 inning of work. Looking over at the bullpen, don't see anyone, no activity down in the Mountain Line bullpen, so we're not going to see a pitching change right here, it doesn't look like. Two outs here, top of the third inning. Cody Riley waiting to step into the box. Meeting breaks up, and we're getting ready to get play back underway here at Mountain Line Park. McNichol over at first, Ramirez over at second, 2 outs, top of the third as Cody Riley steps into the plate, up into the box, single in the first, or single in the second, I'm sorry, for New Mexico Highlands. Silva looking back at Ramirez. And delivers the pitch now. Strike to Cody Riley. 0-1 count now for him at the plate. Brandon Baird, the second baseman, on deck for Highlands should the inning continue. Mountain Lions enjoying an 8-2 run here, or 8-2 lead here in the top of the third. Silva, the 0-1 pitch. Contact is made, but fouled off behind the grandstand. 0-2 count now for Cody Riley. UCCS looking to stay perfect against New Mexico Highlands all time at home. 7-0 at home against the Cowboys in the 3-year history of this series. They split last year 6 games down in Las Vegas. 4 in a conference series and 2 in a non-conference early season series. 0-2 pitch now on the way. Silva makes contact. It's going to go over to right field. It's going to be right on the edge of fair and foul territory. Looks like it'll be fair. The second baseman Clark was trying to make it over. One more run will score for your New Mexico Highlands as Carlos Ramirez comes over from second. Aiden McNichol goes all the way over to third, and Cody Riley over at second. So 8-3 lead for UCCS here in the third inning. Brandon Bayer, the second baseman, now coming up to the plate for New Mexico Highlands. Ground out to the pitcher in the second inning. But right now, runners at second and third for New Mexico Highlands. 2 outs here at the top of the third. They've already scored 3 runs in this inning, trying to add a few more, as they've been able to cut this 8-run lead into 5 for UCCS. First pitch to Bayer is outside for ball number 1. 2 outs, top of the third. And the final game of this 4-game series, scheduled to go 7 innings here at Mountain Lion Park. 1-0 pitch now on the way from Silva. A little bit low for ball number 2. 2-0 count now to Brandon Bayer. Tommy Wisniewski, the left fielder, on deck for New Mexico Highlands, if we should continue. 2-0 count now, right now. 2 outs. Aiden McNichol over at third and Cody Riley over at second. 2-0 pitch, swing and a miss. 2-1 count now for Brandon Bayer. Two outs, top of the third. 2-1 count now with McNichol over at second and Riley over at second, McNichol over at third. 2-1 count. Well hit ball is going to go to right field. Clark is not quite tall enough. He can't make the jump. 1 run to score. They're going to send 2 more home. And so a 2 RBI single by Brandon Bayer brings 2 more runs home. And now it's a 8-5 lead for New Mexico Highlands, or for New UCCS. 5 runs in this inning for New Mexico Highlands as Thomas Wisniewski, the left fielder, steps into the plate. And if we keep going, it'll be Augie Francis who hit a home run earlier in this inning. He's on deck at the moment. Thomas Wisniewski ground out to third to close out the second inning. Bayer over at first for New Mexico Highlands, who have scored 5 runs in this inning. Comes a pitch to Wisniewski, called strike. 0-1 count now for Wisniewski. Starting to see some activity over the Mountain Lion bullpen. 2 outs. Here comes 0-1 pitch. That ball is fouled off behind the press box. 0-2 count now for Wisniewski. Two outs, 0-2 count for Wisniewski at the plate with Brandon Bayer over at first for New Mexico Highlands. Here comes 0-2 pitch. And called strikeout. So 3rd strikeout of the day for Daniel Silva, but New Mexico Highlands able to score 5 runs in that inning to cut the Mountain Lion lead down to 8-5 through the top of the third. When UCCS comes back in the bottom of the third, it'll be the 7-8-9 batters, Schmidt, Rumsey, and McDermott. When we come back, you're watching UCCS baseball. Definitely has not been a quiet game here in the final game between UCCS and New Mexico Highlands. UCCS with an 8-5 lead, 4 runs apiece in the first and second innings. And New Mexico Highlands answering back with 5 in the top of the third. It is Ryan Schmidt now coming up to the plate, takes that first pitch for strike number 1. Schmidt a double in the first inning for UCCS. It'll be Schmidt, Rumsey, and McDermott to 7, 8, 9 in the order for the Mountain Lions. That pitch fouled into the netting behind home plate. Count goes 0-2 for Ryan Schmidt. Mexico Highlands definitely not immune to scoring runs. They scored 7 in the game yesterday, but they have been no stranger to double-digit scoring performances this season. 0-2 pitch now on the way. A little bit low for ball number 1. Multiple games decided by 1 run, so that 9-19 record could be very different if some of those games had gone a little bit different way for the Cowboys. 1-2 pitch now. Here comes a pitch, swing and a miss. And so Ryan Schmidt goes down swinging for the third strikeout for pitcher Kyle Bedsoe. Brings up Walker Rumsey, fly ball to right field in the first inning for him. As Matt McDermott now on deck, he drew a walk in the second inning and later scored. Had a very strong first game for the Mountain Lions. As first pitch to Rumsey, called strike. Mountain Lions going for their 10th conference win of the season here today. 0-1 pitch is outside. Count evens up at 1-1 for Rumsey. 1-1 count, 1 out, bottom of the third. Mountain Lions scored 4 runs in each of the first 2 innings. 1-1 pitch now on the way. That ball well hit, but it's going to go foul on the right side. Count is now 1-2 for Walker Rumsey. One out here in Mountain Lion Park. 1-2 pitch now from Bedsoe. Contact once again made, but foul ball once again on the right side. Count remains at 1-2 for Walker Rumsey. Rumsey playing about half the games for this season for the Mountain Lions, making his 15th start of the year, 16th overall appearance. 1-2 pitch now from Bedsoe. A little bit low in the turf. 2-2 count now for Rumsey against Bedsoe. 8-5 game here at Mountain Lion Park. Contrast that to game 1 today when it was 1-1 for most of the beginning stages of that game before the Mountain Lions came alive. Here comes a 2-2 pitch, fouled off once again. Mountain Lions finally able to get some offense going in the 4th inning of game number 1 earlier today. As both starting pitchers in that contest had 5 strikeouts. 3 strikeouts right now for Kyle Bedsoe. 3 as well for Daniel Silva. And not looking good there for Garrett Hammer. As Walker Rumsey goes over to first. Saw that replay right there. Just here it is again. So ball hits off of Walker Rumsey and in the process goes over and gets Garrett Hammer in the process. Walker Rumsey over on first base for the Mountain Lions. Matt McDermott waiting right now as they're still continuing to evaluate Garrett Hammer. Definitely not something you want to see here. You see the infielders right there just over in the shortstop area for New Mexico Highlands waiting this one out. Just a matter of waiting and seeing. Like he's at least moving. That's a fantastic step considering he was just laying there for a couple minutes. You got Andrew Trax there, the UCCS athletic trainer, also evaluating See what happens. I mean, helmet's going back on for Garrett Hammer. Come back off for a second, but looks like he's going to try at least kind of play through this. Andrew Tracks, athletic trainer, still able. He's able to get back up, so that's a great sign for Garrett Hammer. Looks like they're going to plan on keeping him in. Just needed to take a little bit of time. Take a quick evaluation. A good sign there to see Hammer moving around a little bit. See him talking to the home plate umpire, making sure everything's still okay. It looks like we're going to be back underway. He's going to continue to go, so great news for him that he's able to keep playing. Matt McDermott steps into the box for UCCS. As it'll be Betso going back over to first baseman McNichol as Rumsey over there being hit by that pitch. So one out here, bottom of the third. Mountain Lions with that 8-5 lead. Here comes the pitch and a showed bunt. Garrett Hammer will let that one go foul. And so strike number one to Matt McDermott. As McDermott fouls that one off on the left side. Garrett Hammer for New Mexico Highlands, the catcher out of Fort Collins, Colorado. The senior for this Cowboy squad. 0-1 count now for McDermott as he steps back into the box with one out. And Walker Rumsey over at first here in the bottom of the third. McDermott 3 for 3 earlier today. And goes behind the count 0-2 to Kyle Bedso. You got Walker Rumsey over at first, hit by a pitch. Top of the order on deck for the Mountain Lions. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Well hit ball in the left field. That's going to be at least a single as Walker Rumsey will stay at second. And so Rumsey over at second. McDermott with that single through the left side. And that brings Matthew Clark back up to the box. Scored in the second after reaching base on an error by the shortstop. Ground out to second base in the first. So Clark now up to bat with one out with runners on first and second. Here in the bottom of the third. Mountain Lions lead by 3, 8-5. Here comes a pitch now from Bedso, a little bit high for ball number one. Garrett Hammer looks like he's doing fine. Nothing noticeably, at least from a very untrained eye up here from a medical's perspective, but looks like he's been able to get right back into the swing of things. 1-0 pitch now. Runners are going. Ball is hit over to the left side. It's fielded by a shortstop across the body. He's going to try to get over to first base. And he's able to get so in time. So 6-3 play, but moves all the runners up 90 feet. So McDermott goes to second as Rumsey goes over to third. 2 outs here in the bottom of the third for Matt Berg. Drew a walk on the first and fly ball to the second baseman in the second. 2 outs here, the bottom of the third. UCCS 2 runners in scoring position, leading by at once 8-0. Now it's only a 3-run lead. Trying to add some more insurance runs. Here comes the pitch to Berg. Strike one called to him. Jake Anderson on deck for the Mountain Lions. He has 2 singles so far. Should this inning continue? 8-5 lead for Mountain Lions here in the bottom of the third, with Rumsey on third and McDermott on second. As everyone takes a little bit of a moment, allow everyone to reset a little bit, and Berg steps back into the box. With the 0-1 count, 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. 0-1 pitch now on the way. That ball's hit over to the third baseman. He's able to field it cleanly, and we'll get the tag out instead. No, he's going to say safe. And so, looks like in a fielder's choice scenario, looks like that the attempt by Ramirez to tag out McDermott on the base path was unsuccessful. So Highlands head coach trying to argue the call. Looks like that'll be with Brooks O'Hearn over at third base. Doesn't look like it's going to go anywhere. So Chalked it up. Walker Rumsey will score in that process, making a 9-5 lead for UCCS. McDermott moves over to third. Matt Berg over to first. Still waiting for the scoreboard to update to make sure that's still accurate. Jake Anderson, though, coming into the plate for UCCS. So, yep, we'll give him a run. And we'll hit ball, but fouled again. A win count now for Jake Anderson. So reset a little bit. Rumsey scored on that last play after the failed pickoff attempt on their base runner. Matt McDermott over at third and Matt Berg over at first for UCCS. 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. Mountain Lions with a 9-5 lead against New Mexico Highlands. 0-1 count. Ball bounces in the turf. Runners will stay. Count is now 1-1 for Jake Anderson. One count. 2 outs here. Bottom of the third with McDermott over at third and Berg over at first for UCCS. Anderson at the plate. Richards on deck for the Mountain Lions. 1-1 pitch on the way from Bedso. Checks a swing. Going to appeal to first. And they'll say check in time. So 2-1 count now for Jake Anderson. Anderson singles in the first and the second. Scored in both of those opportunities. Mountain Lions have scored in each of 3 innings so far. 4 in the first, 4 in the second, and 1 so far in the third. 2-1 pitch on the way, a little bit low. Count is now 3-1 to Jake Anderson. Three and 4 batters for the Mountain Lions. Anderson and Richards have done some damage. 2 runs apiece for each of them. 3 combined hits, 2 singles and a home run, and then a walk for Richards in the first. 3-1 pitch on the way. Runner at first is going. A foul ball for Anderson. Allows the count to go full 3-2 as Berg was running to second. Two outs. Bottom of the third. 3-2 count. Runners on first and third for the Mountain Lions, with Jake Anderson stepping back up to the plate for the UCCS. Mountain Lions able to add 1 run in this inning. I'll add some more runners going as well. Swing and a miss, and so strikeout number 4 for Kyle Bedso. But Mountain Lions able to add 1 more run and threaten with a few more, but can't get them across. Mountain Lions with a 9-5 lead as we go into the fourth. Top of the order once again due up for New Mexico Highlands when we come back. You're watching UCCS Baseball.
In the third inning.
So in the inning break, you see a lot of numbers flying up there with UCCS with a 9-5 lead. Back to the top of the order now for New Mexico Highlands here in the top of the fourth. In this 7-inning scheduled contest, Highlands trying to come out with at least a win as they will bring Augie Francis back up. Had a solo home run to lead off the third. And Silva back out there for the Mountain Lions. First pitch is low for ball number 1. Silva 3 strikeouts for him so far today. bring his season tally up to 25. 1-0 pitch now from Silva on the way. Swung at, it's going to be fielded by the third baseman Anderson. Gets over to Mallon in time for the fire 3 play, and so 1 out here in the top of the 4th. Travis Spurriel over 2 so far today for him. Ground out to second base in the first inning. Fly ball out to right field in the third. As Mountain Lions able to retire Augie Francis with that ground out to third. Starting pitchers for both teams, staying in so far at least. Silva now a 3 1/3 inning of work going against Spurriel. That ball catches the outside corner for strike number 1. Galen Young on deck, 2 for 2 for him so far today. As we'll see him after we see Spurriel. 0-1 pitch now coming from Silva. Just outside now for ball number 1. 1-1 count, 1 out, top of the 4th. Mountain Lions lead by 4, 9-5. Trying to secure their second series sweep of the season. 1-1 pitch now from Silva. That ball well hit. That's going to go into left field. It's going to be Berg who's going to be calling for it. A few steps to his left, and he's able to make the play. So a fly ball out to center to left field for out number 2 here in the top of the 4th. Galen Young single into second, double into third. Later scored into third as part of that 5-run inning by the Cowboys. Mountain Lions able to score in each of the first 3 innings for their 9 runs. 2 outs here, top of the 4th. Inning should continue. Carlos Ramirez on deck for New Mexico Highlands. Here comes the pitch now from Silva. That ball once again hit over to left field. Berg is going back to the wall to try to make it. Bounces off the wall. Is going to drop in. It's going to be, looks like another double for Galen Young. Stand up for him. 3 for 3 so far for him today with back-to-back doubles. And the 8th for New Mexico Highlands in this game. Carlos Ramirez had a double last time. Was able to score Galen Young in the 3rd inning. Ramirez reaching base on his first 2 plate appearances after a walk in the 1st. 9-5 lead for the Mountain Lions. Trying to preserve that. Going into the bottom of the 4th. As we start to reach the halfway point here in this game. Pitch from Silva drops in for strike number 1. 0-1 count now for Carlos Ramirez. With Young over at second on that 2-out double. 0-1 pitch now from Silva. That ball is hit again over to left field. It's going to be Berg who's going to try to be able to make it. Looks like he's got a track on it at the warning turf, and he does. And so Mountain Lions give up 1 hit, but it doesn't do any damage as they are able to take a 9-5 lead into the bottom of the 4th. When we come back, middle of the order, Richards, Norton, and Mallon due up. When we come back, you're watching UCCS Baseball. UCCS with the 9-5 lead here in the bottom of the 4th inning at Mount Lion Park as Kyle Benso back out onto the mound for New Mexico Highlands. We're facing Evan Richards to lead off the bottom of the 4th inning. Here comes the first, and Richards tries to check. They will appeal to third, and they will say no. He swung across. Strike number 1 to Evan Richards. Richards home run in the 2nd and scored in the 1st after reaching base on a walk. So 2 runs for him and 2 plate appearances so far today. Mount Lions with that 9-5 lead. 0-1 pitch now to Richards, chopped off over to second baseman. A little bit high throw over to first base from Barry to McNichol, but still makes the out for a 4-3 play, and the out number 1 here to lead off the bottom of the 4th. Cody Norton looking to get on base for the first time today, 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts in the first 2 innings. As Mount Lions with a 4-1 lead, looking to add a few insurance runs. Highlands is not a stranger to scoring runs, having scored 5 of them in the 3rd, but they have scored 19 runs in a game this season, 16 in another, as that ball by Norton fouled off on the left side for strike number 1, but put up 11 against Dixie State in the 14, and a 14-15 loss to Colorado School of Mines. But one out here, bottom of the 4th, Mount Lions with a 4-run lead, an 0-1 count for Cody Norton. Norton takes that one inside for ball number 1. UCCS was able to sweep Colorado Christian in Lakewood earlier this month, and have won most of their series this year. 1-1 pitch on the way. Norton gets a piece of that, but is fouled off behind the netting for a 1-2 count now. Mountain Lions 17-12 overall, 9-6 in the conference. 3rd year of the program under Coach Hadjic. Hadjic has been able to lead the Mountain Lions to the conference tournament in each of the first 2 seasons. If the season were to end today, they'd be back in the tournament again. That 1-2 pitch outside, County was up for Norton at 2-2. Other games across the conference: Christian at Mesa, Adams at Mines, Pueblo at Dixie, and Regis at MSU Denver. Here in the final day of March, April Fool's Day tomorrow, 2-2 pitch. That ball Norton gets a piece of that. Diving Riley can't make the play, so it'll at least be a single for Norton over at first base, and he'll stop over at first. 1 out single for Cody Norton as he's able to get his first hit of the game. John Mallon up to the plate, had a double on the first, ground out to 3rd in the 2nd. In his first 2 plate appearances of this game. Richards able to get back. Not quite, so Norton out at first. Norton was a stolen base threat. 14-16 leads the Mountain Lions in that category. So 2 out so far. As Richards gets a piece of that, goes over to Riley at shortstop, and they can't get the throw in time over to first base, and so Mallon will get over to 2nd on that throwing error by the shortstop.
Now batting, number 16, Ryan Schmidt.
2 outs here, bottom of the 4th inning. As Mallon over at second base for the Mountain Lions. Ryan Schmidt up to the plate, had a double in the first inning, 1 for 2 so far in this game for him. Inning should continue. Walker Rumsey on deck for the Mountain Lions. Here comes a pitch from Bedso inside for ball number 1. 1-0 count, 2 outs, bottom of the 4th. Mallon over at second for the Mountain Lions. 1-0 pitch now. Paul swung at this over to Bayer able to field it cleanly, get it over to McNichol, and that'll end the inning. So Mountain Lions able to put a runner on second, but can't quite get them anything further. Mountain Lions, the first scoreless inning of the day, but still a 9-5 lead going into the top of the 5th. 5, 6, 7 batters due up when we come back with Hammer, McNichol, and Riley. You're watching UCCS Baseball.
Beat. Check this out.
Top of the 5th inning, UCCS leading 9-5. Silva back onto the mound facing Garrett Hammer. Swing and a miss for Hammer. Strike number 1 here is the first pitch of the top of the 5th. Silva 3 strikeouts so far today. A little roughed up in the third, but otherwise playing good. 1 pitch right there. Foul goes into the left side. That'll be fair. So at least a double as that ball goes into the corner. Berg has to dig it out of there, and then they won't go any further. So Garrett Hammer will walk into second base without a problem. Leadoff double for Hammer here in the top of the 5th. Hayden McNichol coming up to the plate. Had a walk in the third. Later scored for New Mexico Highlands. We're on the top of the 5th. They're a scheduled 7-inning contest. Nine hits so far for New Mexico Highlands here in the second game of the doubleheader. Pitch now to McNichol. Swing on and fouled off on the right side. First strike goes to McNichol. 0-1 count now for him. Cody Riley, the shortstop on deck. Riley 2 for 2 so far today. Hammer able to kind of break out of a slump. Had 2 looking strikeouts in the first and the third before that double to lead off to 5th. 1 pitch now from Silva. Swung that, fouled off on the right side as well. Caught the netting. 0-2 count now for McNichol. Top of the 5th. 7 scheduled. Game 2 of this doubleheader. Final of a 4-game series between these 2 teams. Highlands will return home. UCCS goes on the road for 2 weekends. 0-2 pitch now from Silva. A little high for ball number 1. One, 2 count, no outs here. Top of the 5th. Here comes the 1-2 pitch to McNichol. He chops it off. Anderson there's to field it. Runner will stay at second. 5-3 play over at first. And so 1 out here, top of the 3rd. Garrett Hammer stays at second as Cody Riley will come up to the plate. Single in the first, double in the 3rd.
Now batting, number 13.
Brandon Bayer on deck for New Mexico Highlands. Neither team able to get on the scoreboard in the 4th inning. Each team with runners getting to second base, but that was about it. As Cody Riley right there coming up to the plate, getting ready for his pitch from Silva. 1 out here in the 5th. Hammer back at second. Here comes the pitch from Silva. A little inside and high for ball number 1. Cody Riley, one of the 5 runs scored by New Mexico Highlands in the 3rd. Lions able to spread their runs over the first 3 innings, but couldn't put anything across in the 4th. 5 runs off of 9 hits for New Mexico Highlands. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Contact's made, but again fouled off behind the press box. 1-1 count now for Cody Riley. Riley, first time we've seen him this weekend, as he last 4 batters for New Mexico Highlands completely shifted from kind of what we had seen the general moves in the first 3 games. 1 out, 1-1 pitch now coming from Silva. That ball's hit in the center field. It's going to have to be Rumsey. He's going to try to have to make it. He's able to get on the run as Garrett Hammer will trot back to second base. And 2 outs now here on the fly ball to center field by Cody Riley. Now Brandon Bayer single in the 3rd. Ground out to pitcher in the 2nd. 2 outs here in the 5th. Thomas Wisniewski on deck for Highlands should this inning continue, but Mount Lions trying to keep Highlands at bay after that 5-run 3rd inning. They've been able to keep them scoreless ever since, but Highlands has definitely done their work in putting runners into scoring position. Just only in that 3rd inning had to be able to get them across. That pitch is a little bit high for ball number 1 to Bayer. Two outs, top of the 5th inning. Here at Mountain Lion Park, partly cloudy skies have come into base, completely overcast. Here's a 1-0 pitch now on the way. That ball's hit right up the middle. McDermott's able to stop it. Is he going to be able to get over to first base in time? He is a 6-3 play. Great stop by McDermott to try to keep that ball from going out into the outfield. And so the Mountain Lions able to take a 9-5 lead into the bottom of the 5th inning. It'll be the 8-9-1 batters and Rumsey, McDermott, and Clark. When we come back, you're watching UCCS baseball.
And leave one runner on base in the
Bottom of the 5th inning here at Mount Lion Park. UCCS with the 9-5 lead as Walker Rumsey coming up to the plate, facing Kyle Bedso, still back on the mound for New Mexico Highlands. Kyle Bedso 4 strikeouts and giving up 3 walks as that first pitch is a ball to Walker Rumsey. Scoring update to keep you in mind. As down in down in New Mexico, UCCS softball. Oh, and that was a well-hit pitch by Walker Rumsey. That's going to drop in for at least a single. Rumsey is going to stay at first. And so a leadoff single for Walker Rumsey as he gets that ball into center field. And that brings up Matthew McDermott. Single in the 3rd and a walk in the 2nd. As you were saying, softball playing down in Aztec, New Mexico. 3-1 trailing right now to Colorado School of Mines. In the top of the 7th inning right now in that game for the UCCS softball team. Walker Rumsey over at first. They're going to try to get another pickoff, and no success there. As Rumsey able to slide in successfully. Mountain Lions with a 4-1 lead in this 7-inning contest. Trying to have a few more insurance runs getting into the last 2 innings. Rumsey slides back in again to beat the throw from Bedso. McDermott at the plate for the Mountain Lions. McDermott having a very good day so far. 4 hits for him in the 2 games. 1-0 pitch. That's fouled off in the netting for strike number 1. 0-1 count now for McDermott in the batter's box. No outs here. Bottom of the 5th inning at Mountain Lion Park. Temperature sliding back into the upper 30s, lower 40s range. Expected to hit a high of 43 degrees today. Walker Rumsey again safely slides back in over at first. Rumsey 2 for 2 on stolen base attempts this season. 1 pitch. He thought about going. Ball to McDermott. Rumsey stays over at first base. 1-1 count now for McDermott. Between the 2 games, McDermott hit the cycle with a single today, double, triple, and home run in the first game today. It's a very good performance for him. Rumsey slides back in once again. Still a 1-1 count for McDermott at the plate. Clark on deck for the Mountain Lions, representing the top of the order. No outs here, bottom of the 5th for the Mountain Lions with the runner on first. And McDermott will let that one go by for ball number 1. 2-1 count now for him. At the plate, has reached base on both of his first plate appearances. A walk in the 2nd, a single in the 3rd. Scored in the 2nd, got all the way to 3rd in the 3rd inning, but couldn't score. As he now enjoys a 2-1 count right now. Bedso back over to Rumsey again. Rumsey again slides back in. McNichol there to cover first base for Highlands. One of 3 new infielders that we've seen between Game 1 and Game 2 for the Cowboys. 2-1 count for McDermott. There comes the pitch. It's fouled off on the left side. 2-2 count now for McDermott. No outs here, bottom of the 5th after a leadoff single by Walker Rumsey. 2-2 count. Pedzo out of the corner of his eye looking over at Rumsey at first. Delivers a 2-2 pitch down to McDermott. Count goes full now, 3-2. Fielder scores across the conference. An interesting one playing out in Grand Junction. Bottom of the 9th, Colorado Christian leading Colorado Mesa 8-5 right there. Would be an upset in terms of standings. Christian right now 10th in the conference. Mesa currently 1st. 3-2 count on the way Rumsey is going. It's a strikeout for McDermott as Rumsey able to safely make it into second. So strikeout looking for Matthew McDermott, out number 1 here in the bottom of the 5th. As Rumsey makes his way over to second, and Matthew Clark steps up to the plate. Clark scored in the second after reaching base on an error, but otherwise it's been 2 groundouts for him on offense today. Rumsey over at first, 1 out here, bottom of the 5th. Mountain Lions lead by 4, 9-5. And time called. Let everyone reset a little bit. Matt Berg on deck for the Mountain Lions. This Mountain Lions have only allowed 5 runs from Highlands in the 3rd inning. Otherwise scoreless the other 4 as Berg reached for that. Thought twice about it. Steps back into the box. 1-0 pitch now from Bedso up high for ball number 2. See Rumsey over at second base. Leadoff single for the Mountain Lions. Bedso still in, starting pitcher for New Mexico Highlands. Here comes a 2-0 pitch. Ball's hit high, but it's going to go behind the netting for strike number 1. 2-1 count now, 1 out here, bottom of the 5th. Rumsey over at second for UCCS. Matt Berg on deck. And Bedso steps off a little bit. Everyone to reset. Getting ready for this 2-1 pitch. Bedso delivers a pitch, well hit, a high hit ball. It'll stay in the infield, go into foul territory. It looks like it's going to be Ramirez, the third baseman, who's going to call for it. Right on the line, so 2 outs here in the 5th inning.
Now batting,
As Matt Berg comes up to the plate. Has reached base twice on the walk and a fielder's choice for a pop-up to second base in the 2nd inning. 9-5 lead for the Mountain Lions here. 2 outs with Walker Rumsey over on second base. For the Mountain Lions, Jake Anderson on deck for the Mountain Lions. 2 for 3 for him so far today if we get to that point. Bedso with the pitch. That ball hit over to Ramirez. He gets it cleanly. Will go to first instead of trying to get the put out like last time. 5-3 play for Matt Berg will end the inning. So Walker Rumsey getting over to second base but can't come home. UCCS will lead 9-5 going into the top of the 6th. The 9-1-2 batters coming up and Wozniski, Francis, and Spuriel. When we come back, you're watching UCCS Baseball. New pitcher for the Mountain Lions coming in at the top of the sixth inning, Dagan Rank, making his 12th appearance of the season, 2-0 in his 2 decisions so far, 5.4 ERA, with 11 strikeouts for him. As we come up to the number 9 batter in the lineup, Thomas Wisniewski, that ball fouls off for him to start off the top of the 6th inning. He replaces Daniel Silva, finished with 3 strikeouts, giving up 9 hits, 5 runs, and walking 2 batters in the process. Dagan Rank, sophomore out of Longmont, Colorado for the Mountain Lions. 0-1 pitch now on the way. And swing and a miss. Tried to check the swing, but got all the way around. First for Wisniewski. 0-2 count now for him to lead off the top of the 6th. Mountain Lions leading 9-5 overall. A couple innings away from trying to take the series sweep as Wisniewski gives that ball to McDermott. 1 hop. He gets it over to Mallon for the 6-3 play and retires the first batter of this inning for the Cowboys. Back to the top of the order now. Augie Francis had a home run in the 3rd, but 1 for 3 for him so far today. Augie Francis just 2 hits so far today for the top hitter on this Highlands team. First pitch from Rank, not a little low for ball number 1. 1-0 pitch, 1 out. Here comes a pitch. And that ball's fouled off on the right side. Count was up at 1-1 for Francis. One count, 1 out here, top of the 6th inning. Highlands needing to score at least 4 runs as you see Dagan Rank, the right sophomore left-handed thrower. A little outside for ball number 2. Travis Spurriel on deck. Spurriel 0 for 3 for Highlands so far in this game. That ball chopped off on the right side again. Count goes to 2-2 for Augie Francis. And check my notes. Francis just 1 hit so far today in the 2 games. That home run in the 3rd. 2 runs total after you led off the game with a walk in game number 1. 2-2 pitch on the way from Rank. Swing and a miss, and strikeout for Dagan Rank. 2nd out of the inning for the Cowboys as Travis Spurriel comes up to the plate. Spurriel 0 for 3 with appearances in the 1st, 3rd, and 4th innings. For the Cowboys, gave it Galen Young on deck. He's had a much more successful day, 3 of 3 if he sees action in this inning. 9-5 lead, 2 outs here, top of the 6th inning for the Mountain Lions. Here comes the pitch. Right down the middle for strike number 1. Mountain Lions looking for their 5th straight win. And that ball is called for ball number 1. 1-1 count now to Travis Spurriel. 1-1 pitch now from Rank. Low and in for ball number 2. 2-1 count now for Travis Spurriel at the plate. As New Mexico Highlands counting down the outs right now. They can definitely score runs when they need to. All 5 of those runs came in the 3rd. Here comes a 2-1 pitch. And they peeled down to 3rd base. He was able to check his swing in time. 3-1 count now for Travis Spurriel with 2 outs here at top of the 6th. It's just light breeze going out to left field. Here comes the 3-1 pitch outside. And Spurriel will be walked here in the 6th inning, bringing up Galen Young. 3 for 3 with 2 doubles and a single. Scored in the 3rd for New Mexico Highlands. So he steps into the box. Carlos Ramirez on deck. Should the inning continue, but you see Galen Young right there. About to see his first pitch today from Dagan Rank. A bit low for ball number 1. 1-0 count now for Galen Young. Doubles in his last 2 appearances. Pitch now on the way. By the same spot, same result. 2-0 count now for Galen Young. Spurriel over on first base for New Mexico Highlands. Here comes a 2-0 pitch. That ball's made contact. That's going to drop it. I don't think Rumsey's able to make it in time, and that'll put Spurrier all the way over onto third. So runners at the corners on that single by Galen Young make him now 4 for 4 for New Mexico Highlands as Travis Spurrier goes all the way over to third. Carlos Ramirez now coming up to the plate. He had a double in the third and later scored. Reached base on the first on a walk. So Mount Lions, after 2 quick outs, next 2 batters for New Mexico Highlands have reached base. Mount Lions trying to get out of this without any damage, so they just have top of the 7th to worry about when they come back on defense. Here comes the pitch from Rank. And called strike by the home plate umpire. 0-1 count now for Carlos Ramirez. Spurrier over on third. Young over on first. Ramirez at the plate for the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. And 0-2 count now for Carlos Ramirez. Rank already with a strikeout this inning. Coming in for relief for Daniel Silva, who went 5 innings in the start for the Mount Lions. 0-2 count now at the plate. 2 outs, runners on the corners for Highlands. Here comes the pitch. Well hit ball. That's going to go into center field again. Berg is on his motors to try to get it in time, but it's going to be the right fielder Norton who's able to make the play. And so Mount Lions able to get out of that inning without sacrificing any runs, as Highlands able to put runner on third, but they can't do anything with it. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Mount Lions leading 9-5 with Anderson, Richards, and Norton due up. And we come back. You're watching UCCS baseball. Kyle Betso back onto the mound for New Mexico Highlands for his 6th inning of work, as UCCS bringing up Jake Anderson, leading off the bottom of the 6th inning. Mount Lions leading 9-5. Looking at a few more interns runs going into the top of the 7th, and what will ideally for the Mount Lions be the last opportunity for Highlands putting runs on the board. Here comes the first pitch from Betso. That ball is hitting the right field. It is going to have to be Spurrier on his motor. He's able to make it, so 1 pitch, 1 out. Here in the bottom of the 9th. For UCCS. Evan Richards up to the plate, had a home run in the 2nd and walked in the 1st, scored in both of those, obviously with the home run scored. Ground out to second base in the 4th inning. So two runs for him so far today. Here comes the pitch from Betso. Called strike at the plate. 0-1 count now for Evan Richards. Cody Norton at the plate, single in his last plate appearance in the 4th. Mount Lions leading 4 though. Here comes the 0-1 pitch from Betso. A little high for ball number 1. 1-1 count now for Evan Richards. Here in game number 4 of this series, game 2 of today's doubleheader, is UCCS looking to take the series completely. 2-1 count now for Evan Richards at the plate. 2-1 pitch now on the way from Betso. Called strike. 2-2 count now for Evan Richards, the designated hitter for the Mount Lions. Light breeze going out to center field here at Mount Lion Park. Completely overcast skies. Now after we saw some sun earlier, 2-2 count. Gets away from the catcher a little bit. Count goes full now, 3-2. New Mexico Highlands will go back home. They have a 4-game series next weekend with Regis at home. UCCS on the road the next 2 weekends at Adams and Regis. Here comes the 3-2 pitch now. Swung at, that's going to left field. It's going to have to be Wisniewski. He looks like he's going to make it, and he does. And so 2 up, 2 down for the Mountain Lions here in the bottom of the 6th. Cody Norton now coming up to the plate. Single in the 4th inning for the Mountain Lions. 9-5 lead for UCCS. Here in the bottom of the 6th, 1 inning left of work here in regulation. Highlands scoring all 5 of those runs in the 3rd, so they have potency to score when they need to. But you see Cody Norton right there, the right fielder, getting ready for his first pitch of the at-bat from Bedso. Contact's made. It's a high hit ball. It's going to be in foul territory. It looks like it's going to be in front of the bench. Garrett Hammer, the catcher, able to make that ball catch in foul territory. So 3 up, 3 down for the Mountain Lions. Mountain Lions take a 9-5 lead in the top of the 7th. Well, they will see the 5, 6, 7 batters of New Mexico Highlands and Garrett Hammer, Aiden McNichol, and Cody Riley will be come back. You're watching UCCS baseball.
The beat. Check this out. The beat.
Mountain Lions 3 outs away from taking a 4-game sweep of the series with New Mexico Highlands, and Cam Ofterhyde coming out for the Mountain Lions to close out this game. Ofterhyde, a senior from Rancho Santa Margarita, California, transfers from Saddleback College. .84 ERA for the Mountain Lions as that first pitch to Hammer is sliced off in foul territory, 0-1. Ofterhyde making his 9th appearance of the season, 2-0 in decisions. 10 2/3 innings pitched with 9 strikeouts in those 10 innings. 0-1 count now for Garrett Hammer at the plate for New Mexico Highlands. Highlands need to score at least 4 to force the bottom of the 7th, 5 to take the lead as Hammer slices it over. First baseman McMallen able to catch it as Ofterhyde able to make the play over at first. 3-1 play over at first base for the first out of the 7th inning for New Mexico Highlands. Aiden McNichol now up to the plate for New Mexico Highlands. 0-for-2 for him so far today. Scored after he reached on a walk in the 3rd inning, but otherwise a pair of groundouts in the 2nd and 5th innings. 1 out here, top of the 7th. Mountain Lions lead by 4, 9-5. And trying to take this series here today. Closing in on 2 hours of action. That pitch fouled off again. 0-1 count now for Aiden McNichol at the plate. 1 out here in the top of the 7th inning. 2 outs away from the Mountain Lions. Call it a weekend. 0-1 pitch now from Ofterhyde. Swing and a miss. 0-2 count now for Aiden McNichol. We should say Dagan Ring. 1 inning of effective work in the 6th. Giving up only 1 hit, striking out 1 batter in the process. 0-2 pitch now from Ofterhyde outside. Count now goes 1-2 for Aiden McNichol. Mountain Lion pitching staff combining for 4 strikeouts so far today. Ofterhide in position to try to get a 5th. Here comes a 1-2 pitch and a called strikeout looking. So strikeout number 5 for the Mountain Lions, number 1 for Ofterhide. And 2 outs here in the top of the 7th inning. Now it comes down to Cody Riley. Cody Riley has been successful at the plate, 2 for 3, a single in the 2nd, a double in the 3rd, and later scored. But fly ball out to center field in the 5th. 2 outs here, top of the 7th, Mountain Lions to closing this out. As Cody Riley right there stepping into the box. The shortstop for Highlands. Oh, here comes the pitch off high. Swing and a miss. A 1 count now for Cody Riley at the plate. Ofterhide. 1 strikeout so far as Mountain Lions have retired the first 2 batters they've seen. Pitch is a little bit outside. 1-1 count now for Cody Riley. Mountain Lions getting ready to take on the road. They're going to Alamosa next weekend. 1-1 pitch now from Ofterhide. Inside for ball number 2. 2-1 count now for Cody Riley at the plate. Brandon Bayer, the second baseman, on deck if the inning should continue. 2-1 count, 2 outs here. Top of the 7th, 9-5 lead for the Mountain Lions. Here comes a 2-1 pitch inside for ball number 3. 3-1 count now for Cody Riley. Two outs, top of the 7th. 3-1 count now to Riley. Here comes the pitch from Ofterhide, and he'll look at one for strike number 2. So full count to Riley, 3-2 count. Riley 2 for 3. Riley trying to make it 3 for 4 right here. 3-2 pitch now from Ofterhide. Swing, that's going to go into foul territory. And count remains full at 3-2. 2 outs here, top of the 7th inning. Here at Mountain Lion Park. Ofterhide back on the mound with 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. And 3-2 pitch now on the way to Riley. A little bit high, and so Riley would take his base after being walked. 3rd time he's reached base so far today, and that'll bring up Brandon Bayer up to the plate. Single in the 3rd inning. 1 for 3 overall. 2 outs here, top of the 7th inning, with Riley over at first base for New Mexico Highlands. Riley 0 for 1 in stolen base attempts this season. Ofterhide, and then Riley's going on a second. The ball is chopped over to Anderson. Anderson has time to get over to Mallon for the 5-3 play, and that'll end the game. And so Mountain Lions able to take the series with a 9-5 win against New Mexico Highlands here in game number 4 at Mountain Lion Park. Mountain Lions are going to go on the road for a series at Adams State, and then a series at Regis before going back home for 2 of the last home weekends of the year. And so UCCS, with that series wins, goes up to 18-12 in the conference, 10-6 in the RMAC. 18-12 overall, 9-6 in the conference. For New Mexico Highlands, they fall to 9-20, 2-14 in the conference in this 4-game series. Like I said, Mountain Lions are going to go on the road. They will be facing Adams State in a 4-game series in Alamosa, and then a 4-game series at Regis before they're back at home right before Easter weekend for a 4-game series at Metro State, and then they close out the home season with Mines as we're just passing week 4 of 9 in the conference season. New Mexico Highlands are going to be at home next weekend. They're going to be facing Regis at home back in Las Vegas, New Mexico. As we take a look, Mountain Lions have a lot to be proud of for this weekend, but a lot of great things to look at. Just looking at my notes at the moment, Jake Anderson, 2 hits. John Mallon, another double. As Mountain Lions able to score 4 runs in each of the first 2 innings to really build that lead after giving up 5 runs in the 3rd inning to Mexico Highlands. For all of our cast and crew here at Mountain Lion Park, I want to thank them for all their hard work. Yesterday was especially cold, and today with the overcast skies, it got even cold again. As they do great work, they're going to be back out here first at Security Service Field for that noon game against Metro State on April 18th, and then back here at Mountain Lion Park to close out that series. I'm Jared Verner. Thank you so much for watching. For all of our cast and crew, thank you for watching. Good luck to the Mountain Lions next week in Alamosa. Have a great day.